Hi! If you're not using the one-ahead technique when installing your cross strings, it is highly recommended, mainly for two reasons. One, to make it easier to weave the cross string through the main strings, and two, to help reduce friction along the main strings when you pull the cross string through. However, there is a third reason, which I'll share later. Now let's say you are already using the one-ahead technique. Did you know that there are two methods? It might be helpful to know which one you're using. I'll demonstrate them in this video and share why one is better. Alright, so first I wanted to show you the reasons why you should use the one-ahead technique. And the first reason is, I mentioned, to make weaving easier. So what I have here is 4 strings that I tensioned, and I'm going to come in here and install the 5th cross. But you can see that the string, the main strings, are raised and pushed down because of this tension string right here. So what's going to happen when you weave this next string through, it's called a hard weave, because what's happening is that you have to push the string up and down, and it's really harder than it should be, really. I'm using the pulling technique. It would be the same if you were the type that would push a string. If you use the stitching technique, I guess it wouldn't matter as much, but that's the first reason. The second reason I mentioned was to reduce friction. So by having this string tensioned here, and now you have to pull the string through, what's happening is that the friction, the amount of friction, you can reduce that by moving the string up and down, but it's a lot more if you have this string tension and you're having to pull this untensioned string through without the one-ahead technique. Alright, so now let's take a look at the same situation, but now I left this string untensioned. So that's the one-ahead technique, when you leave one untensioned string as you weave the next cross string through. So now that the main strings are pressed up and down in the same way that you want to weave this string, it makes it a lot easier, because what's happening is that you can basically just slide the string through now. You don't have to push up and down, as it doesn't make it as hard. And then also the second reason, to reduce friction, now you just have to push or pull the string through without hardly any rubbing of the strings. And again, this helps reduce the chance of notching your main strings. The third reason to use the one-ahead technique is to detect misweaves. And I want to thank Robert and Bob, who brought this to my attention after watching my recent video, how to detect and avoid stringing errors. So I just weaved this string through. You can see that it's untensioned. But what they had mentioned was that they would push the untensioned string next to the tension string. And the way you can detect a misweave, well, in this case, I didn't misweave it, but you'll notice that there's a uniform bump going across, like that. Alright, so I went ahead and weaved the next string, and same thing, if you push the string over to the tension string, this will be a uniform bump here, but when I get to this middle section, you see how it's flat right here? So that's an easy way to detect a misweave, and it's easier to detect it when it's untensioned. So I'll go ahead and tension this string, and we'll take a look at what it looks like. So let's say if I was stringing and I didn't realize I missed weave, if you take a look at that, it's not as obvious. I mean, I can see it here, but so that would be another way to detect misweave. And again, I want to thank Robert and Bob for pointing that out. Alright, so now I'll get into why I created this video in the first place, and I'll demonstrate the two methods of the one-ahead technique. I'm already halfway through this racket, but I have the untensioned string, and I'll go ahead and weave this string through. And so now I'm going to pull tension here. So basically what I did is I created a big loop of string right here. And the main thing to take note of is now I have to pull this big loop of string through the mains that have tension from this string that I just pulled. So I'm going to count the amount of pulls it takes for me to pull this big loop through these main strings. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So next I'm going to demonstrate the small loop method. And basically what I'm going to do is I'm not going to tension string now like I did on the big loop. I'm going to go ahead and pull the string while there's less friction because of the fact that this is untensioned here. And I'm just going to leave enough string, a small loop, to reach the tension head right here. And then I'll pull tension here. And then what I'm going to do now is count how many pulls it takes me to get this string through when there is tension on the previous string. So there we go, 1 and 1.5. So that'll reduce the friction because of the fact that you're pulling less string when there's tension on the previous string. Hopefully that made sense. Why is this video called the 2024 edition? Well, since you made it this far in the video, I'll tell you. I covered this topic about 2 years ago, and if you saw it back then, I hope it convinced you to use the small loop method. And if you didn't see it back then I hope that this video was helpful. Thanks for watching, happy stringing, and let your strings play. Aloha! I'm proud to announce that I recently joined the Tennis Warehouse affiliate team. If you purchase products from Tennis Warehouse, please use my affiliate link provided below. I will receive a commission, which will help support me and my YouTube channel. Mahalo and let your strings play.